running back if you can, and that's what they've done. I think they've pretty much got everything else except maybe QB, and we'll see.
I disagree because I think they need QB. They lost Alejandro Villanueva. They also lost Pouncey. So their offensive line went from good enough to really needs improvement. So I feel like I would have drafted a running back in a later round and targeted an offensive lineman. That's what I would have done. But I knew that Najee Harris was the guy on their board, so that's why I picked him there. But they really needed. They should have
probably gone with Kevin Jenkins there, but they think the other guys are good enough. They let Villanueva walk
to the Ravens.
Can't wait to see that.
Oh man. Anyways, so we're gonna move on. The Jaguars. BB, you were drafting for the Jaguars at 25. You selected tight end Pat Freiermuth, who actually went to the Steelers in a later round. The Jaguars, surprisingly, selected Travis Etienne, despite the fact that they've got a solid starting running back and a solid backup. So that's a bit of a head-scratcher as well.
I really hate this pick, to be honest.
Because we like, what's his name? The running back, Robinson.
Yeah, James Robinson. I think, Etienne will be pretty solid. He's got, he can catch, he can do a lot. But you've already got who's proven themselves to be a very, very solid running back at minimum in James Robinson. You have 1,000 other needs. And I don't know if you're just trying to make Lawrence feel comfortable with his same running back, but it's just this was a terrible pick.
Should have been offensive line.
Just all things considered, this is just an awful pick.
Should have been offensive line.
Yeah, should have been anything else, really. They could have. There were a vast number of defensive players here that they could have gone with. They have, they're rebuilding on defense. They could have gone cornerback. They're probably pretty set at wide receiver, but they could have gotten an edge guy. They could have gotten, literally the next 4 or 5 picks after them were all pretty much defense except for Rashad Bateman, and they should have gotten one of those guys. They should not have gotten an ETN.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you. This is probably, in my opinion, worse than the Raiders taking Leatherwood.
I think so, yeah.
At least Leatherwood fills a need.
Yeah, I said that was the first. This is the biggest of the first round.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Maybe even the draft.
Yes, definitely was. Especially because there's so many good players still available at positions they need. So, I don't know. But we're going to move on because time to toot my own horn a little bit here. 26th pick, the Browns. I said the Browns were going to select Greg Newsome, corner from Northwestern. And by God, they selected Greg Newsome, corner from Northwestern. That gives me 2 correct. All right. And then we get into what I think is the most confusing to draft for. Not saying that they did a bad job, but I'm saying for the second year in a row, the Baltimore Ravens are the hardest team to draft for. And Dan Beebe had to do it twice. Their first draft pick came at pick number 27. Dan Beebe, you selected for them at pick 27 Azeez Oluwari. Good, would have been a good pick. They thought different. They went with wide receiver Rashad Bateman. Give Lamar Jackson, who they're going to. I don't know if you guys feel the same way about Lamar Jackson as I do, but the dude can't really throw, and he's got quality wide receivers. He did. He had Des Bryant, who mostly has good hands, but he had Hollywood Brown and Devin Duvernay, who were both good receivers, and he just looked terrible as a passer. And to make it even worse, when he had to go into the locker room for that poop, he had Brett Hundley, the quarterback come out for him and didn't miss a beat. So I don't understand thinking that giving him another first-round wide receiver is going to be a good enough thing for you to re-sign him. But that's just my opinion on Lamar. But Rashad Bateman's a great wide receiver. So they got themselves a really good one if they're going to draft one.
We'll see if this can stretch the field and, make defenses really have to struggle between covering Lamar's running and covering some of these receivers.
Yeah, exactly. The Saints were next on the clock. Pick number 28, the New Orleans Saints selected, and I picked for them. I selected Zaven Collins, which fills a need. Not a sexy pick by any means. And they had other ideas, and at pick 28, the Saints went with Peyton Turner. Again, not a sexy pick. Understand the pick. Probably wouldn't have made that pick, but it's their pick.
Yeah, probably a bit of a reach, but not awful. I think he would have fallen further. I think they could have gotten a couple other guys like who the Bills ended up going with, Rousseau, or the Penn State edge,
Jason Owa.
Yeah.
Or Joseph Asai.
Yeah.
Passion, Tryon.
No, it's an okay pick.
Yeah, it fills a need, like I said. Fills a definite need, but it's not good, it's not bad, it is what it is. All right, BB, pick number 29 for the Green Bay Packers. You had selected for them Kadarius Toney. Apparently now they need a quarterback. All right. Dan Beebe must have lost us because we just got him back on the line. Dan Beebe, can you hear me? Dan Beebe, are you there?
Yep.
There we go. We got him back. We're on pick number 29. You picked for the Green Bay Packers. You selected Kadarius Toney, which the Packers have needed another wide receiver to complement Devontae Adams for a long time. They just haven't been doing it. And apparently now they need a quarterback because the GM and Aaron Rodgers are fighting, and it's kind of fun to watch. But in reality, at pick 29, the Packers selected Eric Stokes. What do you get?
In completely related news, Aaron Rodgers says he's not going to play for the Packers again. Maybe, after already pissing him off last draft with your terrible draft, you should get him some offensive help. Maybe.
Yep. Yes.
You get Eric Stokes, cornerback from Georgia, who's a decent cornerback, but there was a ton of talent on offense still available. They're just digging their own grave here. I have no idea, what they're thinking really, and I'm not really surprised that Aaron's saying that he's not going to play another down for them. So good luck, Packers.
Yep. The good news is they did get some stuff for them to just throw Jordan Love out there and let him suffer too. So, hey, you're consistent.
Yeah, your offensive line's not great. Your receivers after Devontae are dog shit.
But you know what? God damn it, you've got 2 of the top 10 corners in the NFL. Anyways, let's move on.
He was in such a good mood. He was going to let them all win at golf too. They reached for the driver.
Mm-hmm. Next up, we have the Bills. I selected for the Bills. I love the Bills pick. I really do. A lot of people didn't like it. I love it. With the 30th pick, I selected for the Bills Elijah Vera Tucker because somehow he was still on the fucking board. But the Bills at pick 30 actually drafted Gregory Rousseau from Miami. All right, this guy's fucking 6 feet 7 inches tall. fucking fast as hell, had 15 and a half sacks last season, and is just a goddamn monster. A monster. He's so good. I don't know why, looking through all of the drafts, the mock drafts and all that Gregory Rousseau was not a top 10 pick, because that guy is just a legitimate fucking monster.
I hate this pick.
Because it's so good.
Because it's the Bills? Yeah, 100% correct. Yeah, Rousseau is going to be a nightmare for the rest of the AFC East. And, you know, they lost a lot of defensive players over the past year or two. So this is them, you know, replenishing that supply. And obviously they probably still want a running back, maybe a corner, but Rousseau is just, he's so good. You can't pass that up.
No, you can't. He's, like I said,
apparently the Saints, which I wish they had. I wish they would have gotten him instead, so he wasn't available for the Bills.
What indicator do you have, besides the fact that he hasn't played much, that he's not going to be great in the NFL? He's a monster, dominated an offense-heavy ACC, fucking killed it. Why is he not a top 10 pick? I don't get it. The Bills fucking won the first round. The Ravens, however, they also had a solid pickup with their next pick. Dan Beebe, you selected for the Ravens at pick 31. You selected wide receiver Terrace Marshall Jr. Doesn't make sense since they went out and got themselves Rashad Bateman. But definitely a good pick if they hadn't gotten Bateman. And I actually, before they got Bateman, I thought they were going to go defensive player or offensive line and then grab Terrace Marshall. They didn't do that. They went Rashad Bateman with their 27th pick, and with pick number 31, they took Jason Owa from Penn State. Not as much of a menace as Micah Parsons, but he's definitely someone who I expect to put up big numbers, or I guess keep numbers down. I think is more like it. He's so good. Penn State just had an incredible pass rush get drafted this year. Also included Shaka Toney. But the Ravens did a great job as well getting Rashad Bateman, who is probably, outside of Kadarius Toney, my favorite wide receiver in the draft. And then Jason Owa, who, of course, has a place in my heart.
Yeah, Owa's great. You know, they just lost somebody in free agency. Judon. They lost Judon.
Yep.
In free agency. And Owa is as good of a replacement as you could probably get. You know, I think do the Ravens run a 3-4 or a 4-3? Do you know?
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's a 4-3. I think.
Yeah,
I hope so, because I think that's the better fit for Owa. If they run a 3-4, then you know he might need a little bit more time to adjust. But
I think there's only like 6 teams that still run the 3-4, right?
Yeah, there's still a few.
Like
But
Jets, Steelers, Seahawks.
Penn State
Jets
ran.
not anymore. Jets are now a 4-3 hybrid team.
Penn State ran a lot of 3-4, 4-3, and at some points even had only 2 people on the line, depending on who they were playing. So it's not like he hasn't played 3-4 before. Just 4-3 is his forte. And then that gets us to the last pick in the first round. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I drafted for them Rondale Moore, wide receiver. They had other ideas. Tampa Bay at pick 32 went with Joe Tryon. All right. So that's the first round, pick by pick.